So we're going to try to make some rafters today. Now my building is 12 feet wide. So you can see I put a block there. And a block there. And a couple of chalk lines that I don't know if I'm going to need or not. But I've got some reference marks. And people have been asking me, Jim, how come you're making rafters before the walls are up? Well, it's much easier to make rafters on here than 8 feet up in the air. And if my walls aren't the same at the top as they are at the bottom, I'm in big trouble. So, put you into the tripod here. I hope you can hear me okay. I've already set up my buttons on a 412 slope on a nice square, my new one, and I can check that with my speed square. So I got the same diagonal. So let's see if I can figure this out, if I can remember how to do this. My slope I want is 412. So over here I've got 4 and I've got 12, and I'm a 12-foot wide building, so halfway is 6 feet, which was the chalk line that I put in. So if I get my slope right here, there's my center line. So we'll mark that. Center line. Because we have to remember to come 3/4 of an inch over, because we'll have a ridge beam in there. Now, the way I remember it is you step it off. So I want 6 feet because that's half my length. So that's 1. Come on. We'll do 1. 2. 3. I bet you have to move, yep. 4. 5. 6 feet from my center line to the outside of my framing. So that's 6 feet from the center line to the outside of my framing. And I want an overhang, and I want to do it a foot, and I'm not going to take into consideration thickness of material right here or anything. I'm just going to add a foot to it. I'm not sure if I'm putting a foam board insulation on, and I'm not sure about how thick my fascia is going to be yet. It might end up just being a 5/4. So there is the end. Now if I come back here, I've got to come up 1.5 inches for the thickness of my top plate. And come back with my same slope. And that should be either my bird's mouth or my bird's beak. Depends where you come from, what they call it. and that is where my top plate will sit. So I'm going to get this cut out, and then we'll see what happens. Alright, we're cut. If you can see, if that 2x4 represents the end of the wall, my bird's mouth, bird's beak comes up. A little bit of glare from the sun. And we're pretty dang close. I've got that extra 3/4 of an inch marked right there that I have yet to cut off for the ridge beam. These are 2x8 lumber. Good enough for this span. It was okay for a 16-foot span, so it's got to be okay for a 12-foot span. Maybe even over-engineered a bit. Alrighty, so we'll leave you there, and I'm going to get the other piece cut. This will be my template, and I'm going to get 2 new ones cut and see how they work out. So now I've got that extra 3/4 of an inch cut off. Got it laying on top of another 2x8. Break my pencil lead. Make sure it's nice and marked. So here we are. The template. A piece in for the ridge beam. And it comes across. And that's where the top plate will fit in. Then your fascia comes on here. I might make a cut across this way because I'll probably only be using a 5.5 inch wide face. So I might have an extra cut there. But that can wait. That, with a collar tie, 2x6 collar tie coming across here, which I'll show you next, will be lots of strength. Lots and lots. So I've got my first collar tie cut for the template. You can see I've put some boards in here, screwed down to the deck. That's screwed in now for my ridge beam. My collar tie has a piece there screwed into the deck. So now what I've got is a great big huge jig to build all my rafters, and I've got the templates right here. So I don't know if this is how the pros do it, but this is how I'm doing it. You might want to consult somebody who knows more than I do if you're going to do this yourself. So here's something. Yeah, I'm about 4 sets of rafters in, and I'm standing here cutting on the lawn. And because it's on the lawn, it's a little bit unlevel, and every once in a while you get a twist on the sawbines a bit. And I'm thinking, geez, it'd be nice if I had a nice level place to work on. Yeah. That should make things a little bit easier. So it just goes to show you, every thought can require a second one. Back to cutting. Okay, we're back with everything cut. I've got all my rafters, 2 of them in the jig, and I've got my 2x6 collar tie and a couple of stop blocks, and that goes into the jig. Like so. Now that everything's in place, 3 1/4 inch nails, 3 inches of wood, and put a slight toenail. I got to turn my pressure up just a little bit. But that should be one seriously strong rafter. Fit on the wall. How's that? Oh my goodness, that fits nice. Rafter. Rafter. Collar tie. You get the idea. Oh. One seriously overstructured rafter assembly. That's it. We'll fly you over there. "16 rafters. All stacked up. All ready to go. Now we can go on with the walls. And that right there, just hold it, see if I can get you onto it here. That is poison ivy. More fun stuff, poison ivy. That's it. I hope you give me a thumbs up. I'd like it. Subscribe. It would really go a long way to let me know that I'm doing something okay. Thank you very much.